they supposed to support you? Support you in your boundaries, support you in doing X, Y, and Z, support you in trying to follow God. And man, that's where I finally found the distinction, because I found people. My name is Ashley, for those of you who do not know me, and like I mentioned before, this is a series where I'm going to share with you all issues that God has helped me overcome or is still helping me overcome, in hopes that you would either gather a tool or a word that will transform the way that you think or heal an area of your life, so that the God version of you would come forth. Now, today's issue is abandonment issues. Now, I'm not excited about it, but I'm excited to be able to share these processes with you. So I have the definition of abandon here, and it says to cease to support or look after, to desert, to leave a place or vehicle empty or uninhabited without intending to return. Abandon someone or something, to condemn someone or something to a specific fate by ceasing to take interest in or look after them, to give up completely. Now, when I first thought about abandonment issues, I was like, oh, I got 3 that are for sure a testimony that I can share on here. But I actually had to go deeper, and when I went deeper in it, I realized that I felt abandoned by a lot of people, actually. And in the context of them ceasing to support me, no longer supporting me. Abandoning the title that either I gave them or they gave themselves in my life, and because I no longer did what they wanted me to do, because I was no longer becoming who they thought that I should become. And that hurt, because it was a lot of people. It was a lot of people. But thank God later on, God filled those spaces, and I have people who make me feel alive and help cultivate the God version of me, which is amazing. Okay, so my testimony in this was that there have been multiple people who've tried to come in my life and be a mom or a father figure to me, and some of them made it, some of them did not make it. And the ones that had that title or those types of titles in my life, by either me giving it to them or them giving it to themselves, man, when I stopped doing what they wanted me to do, meaning I started creating boundaries and saying like, nah, I'm not gonna show up here because, one, I don't want to, I have other priorities, and I wasn't giving in to guilt trips anymore, or manipulation, or me just like choosing a lot of different things that went against with what they thought, or what went against what the norm was. It went against what I was doing. And so yeah, like they stopped inviting me places, they stopped incorporating me in certain things, and man, in the beginning it really hurt me. Like, you say that you're this, but you're doing something else. Whew. And in my head, I'm like, doesn't like a mom or father or whatever title, like, aren't they supposed to support you in your boundaries, support you in doing X, Y, and Z, support you in trying to follow God? And man, that's where I finally found the distinction, because I found people in my life who did support me, who encouraged me to create boundaries, who encouraged me to speak up and not say things that I don't want to say, who corrected me, and man, still supported me and heard my rebuttal. And okay, those are the best. But man, so when I started thinking about these abandonment issues, I had to ask myself a while ago, maybe about like a year or so ago, like, okay, I'm the common person. So is it me? What am I doing? And this refers back to a video that I did a few months ago, I think, on my YouTube channel, and it talks about like, it's not you, it's me. And I realized that same thing with the abandonment issues. And if I could give you an example, it looks like this. It looks like there being a group of people, you being one of them, on a boat, right? And we all know the story of Peter walking on water, right? He gets out the boat, he walks on water towards Jesus. And imagine yourself being like Peter. You are walking towards Jesus and you have to get out of the boat to walk towards him. You have to walk on water. And in the process of you walking on water, you're actually abandoning the boat. You are the one abandoning the boat. You're leaving the boat to go and walk towards Jesus. And that's what it felt like. Like, I'm walking towards Jesus, but I didn't realize when I looked back they weren't there because I walked outside the boat. I got out the boat and they didn't. And so I was just like, oh man, okay. So there were these feelings of hurt that were no longer valid. And so if you felt like people have ceased their support for you because you were unfolding or unpeeling into the God version of you, man, really take a moment and ask yourself, was it them or was it you that abandoned ship? Woo! And if it was you, release them. Release them. Yeah, and pray for them. Pray that they would find the revelation, that God would give them the revelation into them becoming the God version of them. And I always say the God version because I feel like I know that God had an image of me and how I was when he had me in mind, when he created me. And I know that I really believe that that version of ourselves is the one that makes us feel alive, the one that makes us feel free, the one that makes us feel like we can do all things through Christ. And the distinction for me was that when I was in these environments with these people, I didn't feel like that. I felt depleted. I felt like saddened. I felt man, just like droopy, like something was just like pressing me down. Like I didn't feel alive. I didn't feel open. I felt like just caged in. Yeah, so that's like one part of the abandonment issues that I wanted to address, and hope that you would all do some internal inventory and seek the truth. Not what you think is the truth, not what you assumed when you're in your feelings, but sit down and seek the truth. And what is the reality of this? What happened? What did they do? And what did I do? What part did I play in this? I always go back to self-development, self-reflection, because it's not always other people's responsibility to, it's not the other person or other people's responsibility. It's your responsibility as well. And so on the other end of abandonment issues, like when people who like leave you, either being a father or a mother, whatever that looks like in your life, like really, I remember there being a specific time where I was out partying, and one night I was in a fight with my ex-boyfriend, and I remember just like crying and was like, why did this person leave me? And it was like nothing was happening about that person at all. But I realized there was these built up hurts and thoughts in my mind that I never got out. I didn't understand. I didn't talk about it. And yeah, I remember after that day, I had signed up for counseling at my school. And that was where a lot of the healing started to come forth. And because I got to talk about it, and because I had a professional that had tools to help me either talk about it or help give me tools to decide what it is that I was gonna do based off of my values and what I desired. So yeah, with that, my encouragement is that if you've never gone to counseling, maybe consider it. You can start by downloading an app where you don't even have to talk to someone, but you can text someone, right? One of the last ones that I did was I think BetterHelp. It's a BetterHelp app, but man, there's so many resources for counseling. I really encourage it, not so much because you can't talk to someone, but because there's a professional that has tools that help navigate those types of scenarios. Yeah, and you don't have to do the work. Like, they're doing the work for you. All you have to do is show up with your feelings and your thoughts and release that. You don't have any other responsibilities. Whew, man. So with all of this, my prayer is that you would pray for those who you thought abandoned you, but you actually abandoned them. And pray for those who did abandon you and hope that they weren't abandoned. Yeah. Oftentimes people do the same things that were done to them. And sometimes people don't necessarily have the intent to hurt, but because they're hurt, that's all that comes out. We can't control what comes out of our heart at any time. Like, it's gonna come out, period. So yeah, that's it. I love you guys. I hope that this blessed you all, and remember that you can do all things through Christ.